Home means familiar. Home means neighbors that you can trust. Home means a sense of security.
Realizing all the little things you accumulate over the years, and I think it's those things that remind you, the kids' artwork on the walls and
hosting family for Thanksgiving and working on our gardens and
shelter and safety. And
home is community.
For me, it's the place where we all come together and be together as a family.
We were living in Burlington's New North End in a very substandard rental housing when our kids were very little, 4 and 2 at the time. And we were looking for a place to live, but I had lost my job and I was laid off and working temporary jobs for a period of a couple of years.
We were paying about $1,200 a month in rent in Burlington, and sort of we're at the place where we said, okay, if we're paying this much in rent, we should be able to start putting some money towards owning a home. And we started to kind of look around and we realized, oh my gosh, there's just nothing that is affordable for us.
I was home one Thanksgiving when I was living in Boston, and some friends told me they were moving to Burlington, Vermont. And I was like, wow, I've been thinking about going back there. And so I moved in with 2 friends. We rented a house in the South End, and that was great. And then we had to move houses for whatever reason. Because the landlord was moving into the house and we had to move out.
I lived on the road with my son's partner, or my son's father, for a long time. We traveled the lower 48, and that was kind of the life I was going to live. I got pregnant, and I didn't realize that my son had Downs when I was pregnant. And I had all intentions of bringing him on the road with me and, taking him and bathing him in the lake and, living that wonderful hippie lifestyle that I was so used to. But obviously when he was born, he had Downs. And before we even left the hospital, he had 6 surgeries scheduled. It really forced us to rethink everything.
I found out about the Housing Trust through word of mouth because I was with a friend of mine and we came to visit one of her friends who was living here. And it was so eye-opening because I was like, wow, these places are great.
I found out about the Champlain Housing Trust through another friend at my son's daycare, and I had no idea it existed. And they had really affordable apartments. My first apartment was $750, which was amazing, completely in my price range.
We started looking at our options, and we learned about the Champlain Housing Trust and the buyer-driven grant opportunities that were available and the shared equity program. And it just seemed like a wonderful opportunity and a perfect match for where we were, and also a wonderful opportunity to help us get into an affordable home.
We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a down payment of any size, and so we looked at other options. And we went to what was then the Burlington Community Land Trust, is now Champlain Housing Trust. We went to them in the old North End and worked with folks there for a period of 2 years or more. And at the time, they didn't have classes or anything, so it was just one-on-one that they would work with us and go out and look at properties with us and houses.
We started the process in the fall of 2007, and we closed on our house and we're moving into our new home by the summer of 2008. And that included doing the buyer education, the home education workshop with the Champlain Housing Trust, going through the buyer-driven grant process and the shared equity program, and of course going through the process of actually looking for a home that worked for us and a home that we wanted to make ours.
They have programs that can help people get on their feet and learn how to manage their budgets and things like that.
We learned an immense amount about just buying a home and what was involved. And that made it even clearer to us that the conventional route was probably not going to work for us, because we were looking at a period of a long time before we'd be able to accumulate the kind of money we needed to come up with a down payment for a regular conventional mortgage, I guess.
They help with credit classes to get people to a place where they can have a home that's affordable. And I think that's a good thing because they don't want people to fail once they have an apartment. So helping them to establish a good credit score and establish a good base of support really helps them to be sustainable in their home and their, in their future.
They really take such good care of their properties, and they really do care about the people who are living in them, whether it's apartments or co-ops or even the homes that they sell.
It's just been a great opportunity to leave this, for us to build our first home together, and also to leave this property in the community, whenever we decide to move on, be it 10 years or 20 years, to know that this home will stay affordable for another family in our community. It really feels like a way to give back.
We had learned a lot about the housing trust model, the mission, the shared equity model, where you're essentially committing a share of the equity in the home to the next buyer. Again, we were, I think, as Lynn said before, we were looking for a place to stay in for a long time. Obviously, we're still here. We've raised kids here, and they've moved out, and we're still here, and happily so. I
know that this is an apartment that I can keep because they've worked with me to figure out what I can afford, what kind of home I'm looking for, and I don't have a danger of losing that. I don't have a fear of losing that.
They're helping people who are at risk of being homeless, and that's a little heavier than my situation. And I think that's the start of the greatness of the Housing Trust.
We felt much more in control of our lives here, and in setting the kind of rhythm of our life that we wanted to set, and being able to, enjoy the space much more because it was ours.
This home is going to be the first home that our daughter Hazel remembers, and where her first memories come from. And I think that's really thanks to the Champlain Housing Trust.
It's an investment in potential. And that is something, I get goosebumps just thinking that. That is something you can't tell a person's worth. And you can't tell what a person can do with $1 and a little bit of help. And if a person has a stable base and a stable home to go to, they can work to change the world. I went from essentially being homeless, and now I'm a nurse. I take care of many people, and that's through support.